On our 8th year together, I proposed to Marcus. He rejected me in front of everyone. I've always said I don't want to be tied down by marriage. Are you guilt-tripping me? He then turned around and made a promise to his pseudo-sister. I will never marry anyone you don't approve of. The next day, I sent him a breakup message. This time, he panicked and got down on one knee to propose to me. I threw the diamond ring at him. I'm not going back on my word, and a woman like me doesn't settle for a man who treats her like a mere sibling. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. I stayed away for a week, and Marcus didn't call me once. Instead, his pseudo-sister Chloe posted a social media post. It's so good to have you by my side. The accompanying picture showed her leaning on Marcus's shoulder. I smiled and liked the social media post. Chloe quickly deleted the social media post and sent me a message. Grace, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to lean on my boyfriend's shoulder, or didn't mean to post it? Chloe didn't reply, but Marcus called me. Grace, what did you mean by what you sent Chloe? I could vaguely hear Chloe's choked voice. Marcus, please don't argue with Grace. It's my fault for not making her like me. I took a deep breath. Marcus, go comfort your pseudo-sister first. I emphasized the word pseudo-sister with a biting tone. Crazy woman. Marcus cursed and immediately hung up the phone. When I got home, I saw Marcus gently blow-drying Chloe's hair. Grace, seeing me, Chloe's eyes misted over, as if my appearance had startled her. I didn't intentionally ask Marcus to blow-dry my hair. Please don't misunderstand. Before I could speak, Chloe began to explain. My hair is really too long, and Marcus blow-dries it faster. Marcus didn't even glance at me. He simply continued to comfort Chloe. Chloe, you don't need to explain so much. A clear conscience needs no defense. Grace, Marcus, and I are truly innocent. Even though Marcus had said that, Chloe was still desperately explaining to me. I glanced at her and finally just uttered a normally. I would have had a few words with Marcus by now, but after barely escaping with my life, I didn't want to say anything more to him. Seeing my sudden lack of reaction, a flicker of disappointment crossed Chloe's eyes, and Marcus also looked a bit surprised. I walked straight to the room, and my hand paused as I saw the messy bed and the bras on it. Grace, my bras accidentally got wet when I was showering, Chloe said, lowering her head, her ears turning red. I glanced at her chest. She immediately covered herself, acting bashful again. Grace, Marcus is still here. How could I be so indiscreet? She stuck out her tongue, linked her arm through mine, acting incredibly intimate. Grace, I asked Marcus to get yours. She winked at me, Chloe's subtle jab about Grace's figure. In that moment, a wave of nausea rolled in my stomach. I took a deep breath, pried Chloe's arm off mine, and began packing my luggage. Grace, what kind of drama are you starting now? Marcus shoved aside my luggage. It's just one of your bras. Do you really have to throw a tantrum and run away from home again? Meeting's triumphant gaze, I spoke slowly, word by word. Marcus, we're over. Grace, don't push your luck. Marcus grabbed my wrist, forcing me to look him in the eye. Chloe glanced at Marcus, and seeing his displeased expression, her lips curled slightly upward before she feigned concern and nervously stepped forward to persuade me. Grace, you and Marcus have been together for 8 years. How can you just end things like this? As she tried to persuade me, she linked her arm through Marcus's. Grace, if Marcus did something wrong, just tell me, and I'll make him change. Don't argue with him all the time, it's bad for your relationship. I scoffed, pulled my arm free from Marcus's grasp, and casually tossed all the bras from the wardrobe into the trash can. So, Grace, you're just disgusted with me. Chloe's eyes welled up as she spoke, but she bit her lip, trying hard not to cry. Yes, I smiled. I am disgusted with you. Chloe didn't expect me to drop the pretense completely. She stared at me with wide, innocent eyes. Her tears streamed down, unrestrained. Before I could say anything, Marcus became agitated. He glared at me. Grace, apologize to Chloe. No matter what happened, Marcus always made me apologize to Chloe. It was the same even when I proposed to him. That day was Marcus and my 8th anniversary. I had everything ready and proposed to him in front of everyone. Marcus, let's get married, okay? Everyone was cheering. Say yes. Say yes. I thought Marcus would embrace me, pull out the diamond ring I'd already found, and slip it onto my ring finger. But to my surprise, his gaze was fixed on Chloe, who had just run off, covering her face. Grace, I told you, I don't want marriage to tie down our relationship. Are you trying to guilt-trip me now? He spoke righteously. I had absolutely not anticipated this outcome. Before I could explain, he left me alone and ran off in Chloe's direction. When I caught up, he pulled out the ring I had waited for so long and personally slipped it onto Chloe's finger. Chloe, I told you, if you don't want me to, I can go my whole life without marrying. It turned out that Marcus's reason for not marrying all this time was Chloe. Rage consumed me. I rushed forward and shoved them apart as they embraced. The ring on Chloe's finger was knocked off and fell to the ground. The ring rolled and dropped into a nearby sewer. Marcus, Chloe looked at Marcus innocently. It's my fault, I couldn't even protect the ring you gave me. Before I could even voice my questions, Marcus forcefully grabbed me by the collar. Apologize. Seeing, who had just shot me a defiant look but instantly became pitiful and wronged when Marcus turned to her, my anger flared. Why should I apologize to her? Slap. As my words faded, Marcus slapped me across the face. Now, looking at Marcus, the pain from that moment surged back. What if I don't apologize? I stared Marcus down. Are you going to hit me again? Marcus, for once, looked somewhat embarrassed. In the past, no matter what happened, if Marcus and I argued, I would always be the one to back down and apologize. By my count, this was the first time Marcus had ever apologized to me. Chloe's eyes twinkled as she looked at me. Grace, Marcus has already apologized, won't you forgive him? Before I could say anything, she was already pulling Marcus outside. As they left, she didn't forget to look back at me. Grace, I'm taking Marcus to buy you some bras right now. Anything I touched, I'll make him buy you new ones. When returned, he was indeed carrying a bag full of things. Seeing I was still packing my luggage, he just tossed the bag at me. Grace, Chloe has already picked out the bras you wanted. Are you still going to be unreasonable and make a scene? I casually flipped through what he called bras. Not a single bra was my size. Marcus looked a bit awkward. He cleared his throat, covering his mouth. It's just a different size, isn't it? I'll go exchange them for you. I didn't say anything. He walked to the kitchen, made a bowl of noodles for me, and brought it to my front. Alright, stop making a fuss. Looking at that bowl of noodles, my heart trembled slightly. When he confessed his feelings to me years ago, it was with this exact kind of noodles. He asked me if he could cook noodles for me every day from then on. He sighed, Grace, I truly only see Chloe as a sister. Can you please stop overthinking things? No sooner had he spoken than his phone rang. Marcus, someone's following me. Marcus shot up, and the hot soup spilled directly onto me. Grace. Seeing the blisters on my hand, he had a moment of panic. Marcus, what do I do? That person is getting closer. I'll be right there. Hearing's trembling voice, he grabbed his jacket and rushed out, without even a backward glance at me. The pain in my hand gradually numbed. Thinking about Chloe being followed, I still felt anxious. Just as I ran outside my home, ready to follow him, a car sped towards me. Marcus, lying on the ground, completely weak, I called Marcus. Grace, Chloe is scared. I'll come back later. You should take care of your wounds. It was rare that Marcus even remembered my hand was burned. Marcus, I was in a car accident. Grace, are you never going to stop? Marcus's furious voice came from the other end of the phone. To compete with Chloe, you'd even lie like this. Why don't you just say you're dying? The moment my phone dropped to the ground, I heard Chloe's delicate voice. Marcus, I really didn't know that person lived downstairs from me. I just thought he was acting suspicious, so I assumed. So, this was Marcus's definition of Chloe being scared. I lay in the hospital for a full week before my injuries barely showed any improvement. However, the burn scars on my hand and the scars from this car accident intersected, looking particularly gruesome. When I returned home, Marcus was, as expected, not there. Of course, he was busy comforting Chloe, who was supposedly scared by her upstairs neighbor. The bag of bras Marcus had bought earlier was also gone. I quickly packed everything, leaving the place I had stayed for 8 years, and the person I had loved for 8 years. After I found a job, Marcus finally called. Grace, what is the meaning of this? He roared into the phone, where are your things? Marcus, let's break up. Marcus didn't call again. I had broken up with him twice now, so he probably didn't want to lose face by talking to me again. Only social media posts updated occasionally, sometimes with photos of her and Marcus, sometimes with her inspirational quotes. Women should never rely solely on men, and certainly never use breaking up to threaten them. Undoubtedly, that social media post was meant for me. I scoffed. Just as I was about to block her on WhatsApp, her social media post updated again. It was a picture of Marcus on one knee, and a ring on her hand. Happiness always arrives unexpectedly. It turns out I was the one you've been waiting for. I thought my heart was utterly calm, But it wasn't until I saw that social media post that I understood what it meant for every breath to hurt. It turned out Marcus didn't not want to get married, he just never wanted to marry me. I commented congratulations under Chloe's social media post, then blocked both her and Marcus on WhatsApp. Grace. I had just returned home in a daze when Marcus forcefully pulled me aside. His eyes glinted menacingly. If anything happens to Chloe, I'll make you pay for it with your life. I was somewhat bewildered. Hadn't he just proposed to Chloe? How did he have time to come here to me? Besides, what could possibly happen to Chloe? Did she get pre-wedding depression? Marcus's hand rose high, but ultimately didn't come down. Chloe is in the hospital right now. Get over there and apologize to her. He ignored my protests, dragging me outside. Let me go, let me go. More and more onlookers gathered. I realized my clothes had been torn by Marcus, and I looked as disheveled as a roadside scavenger. Only when we reached the hospital did Marcus finally release me. He pushed me into the hospital room. Grace, what are you doing here? Chloe cast a weak glance at me, then looked at Marcus. Marcus, I told you it has nothing to do with Grace. Why did you bring her here? Her gaze lingered on my clothes, and in a corner Marcus couldn't see, a smug smile played on her lips. Oh dear, what happened to Grace's clothes? She picked up her jacket from nearby and tossed it at me as if it were charity. Marcus, hurry and put the jacket on Grace. Grace, even now, Chloe is still worried about you. After how you've treated her, do you have any conscience left? Faced with Marcus's shouting, I still couldn't understand what had happened. It wasn't until a nurse walked in and instructed, keep your voices down. The patient just had her stomach pumped and needs rest. After saying that, the nurse glared at me and mumbled, disgusting the other woman, so shameless. Stomach pumped? I whispered. Marcus threw his phone directly at me. Do you really need to say such vicious things to curse Chloe? Calling her the other woman, I think you have a death wish. On the phone was clearly my chat history with Chloe. Besides the like I had left on her social media post, there were also my private messages to her. Every message from Chloe was an attempt to persuade me and Marcus to reconcile. And every one of my replies was coercing Chloe to commit suicide. What did Chloe ever do to you that you have to pressure her like this? I ignored Marcus's words, my gaze fixed on a particular sentence from Chloe. Grace, you really misunderstood me. Marcus was just practicing how he would propose to you. My hand trembled. Propose? You were going to propose to me? Slap. Marcus could no longer tolerate it. In front of Chloe, he slapped me across the face. Grace, at a time like this, are you still dreaming about me proposing to you? He glared at me and kicked me. You venomous woman. There's no way I'll marry you. Don't even dream of me marrying you in this lifetime. I don't know how I walked out of the hospital. I only remember people behind me pointing and whispering. They called me the other woman and said I forced Chloe to take pills and commit suicide. When I reached the hospital entrance, an old woman even dumped a basin of leftovers on me. I, an old woman, can't stand trash like you who break up families. Go die. Back home, I hid in the bathroom, covering my head, letting the water wash away the filth from my body. For those 8 years, very day I had yearned to marry Marcus. Now, after pouring out all my heart, all I got in return was being called venomous. When I woke up, I was already in the hospital. Marcus stood before me, his face ashen. Why are you here? I was completely shocked by his presence. Shouldn't he be with Chloe right now? Weren't you just waiting for me to show up? Marcus said coldly, sitting opposite me. To compete with Chloe, you either get into car accidents or stage suicide attempts like her. Are you satisfied now? I glanced at the nurse who was administering my 4-drip nearby. I wasn't sure if it was my imagination, but she inserted the needle with excessive force and even rolled her eyes at me. Alright, your 4-drip is in. You won't be dying anytime soon. The nurse's words were full of sarcasm. It was then that I realized she was the same nurse who had called me the other woman in Chloe's hospital room that day. Grace. Chloe had appeared at some point. It's all my fault. If I hadn't argued with you, if I hadn't posted that social media post, none of this would have happened. As she spoke, she was about to kneel before me. Grace, if you're willing to forgive me, I can kneel and kowtow to apologize. Chloe. Marcus immediately stopped her. He hugged her tenderly. You just had your stomach pumped, you're not feeling well as it is. Please don't put yourself through this anymore. I had no desire to watch them any longer and simply said faintly, if you have nothing else to say, then leave. You're not welcome here. Grace, I know you don't like me. I'll leave right now, and I'll never appear in your sight again. Marcus pulled Chloe into his arms, comforting her softly. If it were the old me seeing this scene, I would have been heartbroken. But now, I just found it amusing. Chloe, you're mistaken. I scoffed, I don't just not want to see you. I pointed to Marcus next to her. What I mean is, I don't want to see either of you. The nurse probably hadn't seen such a scene before and looked a bit bewildered. I smiled at her. Could you please do me a favor and escort this star-crossed couple out? They're disturbing my rest. Though was full of disbelief, he was ultimately escorted out of the hospital room by the nurse. As he left, he didn't forget to glare at me. Grace, don't think you can regain my attention this way. If you don't apologize to Chloe, I'll never, slam. His words were met by the sound of the nurse closing the door. The nurse clapped her hands and rolled her eyes at the door. What an idiot. Then, looking at me, she seemed a bit embarrassed. I'm sorry, did I hurt you when I gave you the injection earlier? I looked at my now slightly bruised hand, and nodded. You were definitely a bit forceful. She scratched her head sheepishly. I initially thought you were the other woman. When that woman came to the hospital, the man acted, perhaps afraid of upsetting me. She glanced at me as she spoke. Long before Marcus slapped me without reason, I had already completely given up on him. Now, I just felt like the nurse was gossiping with me. Did he act particularly like Chloe's husband? Exactly. Exactly. The nurse and I went back and forth, gossiping about Marcus and Chloe. You wouldn't believe it, Chloe acted like she was dying, scaring our head doctor half to death. But after the examination, it turned out she'd only taken less than one sleeping pill. When I mentioned the chat history, she rolled her eyes even harder. This kind of cheap trick, you can download any app now to simulate WhatsApp chats and fake records. She complained, your taste is really terrible, falling for an idiot like Marcus. I wanted to argue that the Marcus from before wasn't like this. But too much time had passed, I couldn't quite remember what the old Marcus was like anymore. I only remembered the current Marcus. A man who rejected my proposal, then turned around and gave Chloe a ring. A man who would slap me again and again for Chloe, and wrongly accuse me without a second thought. I took a deep breath. Indeed, I was blind once, but now my eyes are finally open. Just as I finally made it to discharge, the commotion nearby drew my attention. What nurse is as heavy-handed as you with injections? Marcus held Chloe in his arms, looking at her slightly bruised hand with a pained expression. The nurse sighed, I told you, if you want to recover quickly, the injections need to be firm. Chloe, clearly seething with frustration, still spoke up for the nurse. Marcus, don't be angry anymore. Maybe the nurse is right, I need stronger injections to heal faster. When her gaze swept over me, she sniffled twice. After all, this nurse is very close with Grace, so she wouldn't harm me. She must be doing it for my own good. Hearing my name, Marcus's expression instantly changed. Grace, are you stirring up trouble again? He quickly spotted me and dragged me out of the crowd. Chloe is already like this. How much more do you want to harm her before you're satisfied? Everyone around turned their gaze to me. Some were filled with scrutiny, others with disdain, and many were whispering. I heard she's the other woman. Yeah, this woman broke up someone else's home, and now that they've finally reconciled, she still wants to cause trouble. The old woman who had previously thrown soup on me even spat at me. Last time, I should have thrown sulfuric acid on you, you shameless wretch. Hearing these words, Chloe flashed a triumphant smile. She tilted her head and looked at me, her eyes full of provocation. Marcus, am I your girlfriend, or is Chloe your girlfriend? Marcus looked at me with a hint of guilt. After a long moment, he said nothing. I scoffed, didn't you keep saying Chloe was just your pseudo-sister? Why are you suddenly unwilling to admit it now? Marcus stammered for a while but ultimately didn't utter a word. I pulled out my phone and pointed to the date in the photo album. Marcus and I have been together for 8 years. This is a photo from 8 years ago, when he confessed his feelings to me. Are you still going to call me the other woman? An other woman for 8 years? Seeing this, everyone around fell silent. Even the old woman who had been shouting about throwing sulfuric acid on me lowered her head, lost in thought. I flipped through the photos, one by one. Marcus, these are all proof of our time together. Can you tell me now, tell everyone, who your girlfriend truly is, Chloe or me? Grace, it's all my fault. Chloe's tears welled up again. The moment Marcus saw Chloe's tears, he was heartbroken. He glared at me. Grace, don't go too far. Slap. Without another moment of hesitation, I slapped Marcus directly across the face. Marcus, you keep saying I'm going too far, but what exactly have I done that's so excessive? One slap wasn't enough for me, so I raised my hand and slapped him again. You rejected my proposal, then turned around and knelt before Chloe. When I was in a car accident, you completely disregarded me. only remembering that your Chloe might have been scared by a neighbor she sees every day upstairs. Even though it was Chloe who provoked me and fabricated chat history, you blamed me for harming her, completely indifferent to me collapsing at home. When everyone was calling me the other woman, you, as my boyfriend, not only failed to clear my name but even let everyone point fingers at me. Marcus, tell me, were you excessive, or was I? My 2 slaps and this barrage of questions completely stunned Marcus. Chloe glanced at Marcus. Seeing he was still dazed, she immediately dabbed her nose and started to sob. Grace, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have gotten so close to Marcus, making everyone misunderstand your relationship with him. You're right, I should just die. I shouldn't be alive in this world. As she spoke, she grabbed a dagger from the table and brought it to her wrist to cut H. Erzelf, if my death can make Grace forgive me, then I'll die. Marcus immediately snapped out of his daze. He simultaneously tried to comfort Chloe and threatened me to make a promise. Grace, tell Chloe you'll agree to whatever she wants. Say it now. The scene was chaotic. Ultimately, the nurse snatched the dagger from Chloe and threw it to the floor. If you're going to stage a suicide attempt, at least make it convincing. She rolled her eyes. You're holding that dagger so lightly, clearly just wanting someone to take it away from you. You can't even press it against your wrist, and you're trying to stage a suicide here? She scoffed. It's just as pathetic as when you made a scene about taking half a sleeping pill and needing your stomach pumped. Honestly, it's really pathetic. Chloe's face was covered in embarrassment. She threw herself into Marcus's arms. Marcus, thank goodness I still have you. I don't want to die. I want to be by your side forever. The nurse cast a disdainful glance at her. Can you get a grip? Your girlfriend is right here. Are you so eager to jump on him, trying to break up a couple so you can move in? No, Chloe tried to explain, but everyone around her gave her no chance. This is exactly like the manipulative schemers I see in TV shows and novels. Calling him brother all the time, but secretly doing things couples do? How disgusting. Hearing the words of those around him, Marcus's face turned even uglier. Chloe, his voice trembled, as if his trust in Chloe was finally beginning to waver. Marcus, no, I didn't. You can't doubt me like them. I lightly cleared my throat. Don't worry. You won't doubt you. He's going to spend his whole life with you. Grace, you, Marcus's body stiffened. He probably hadn't expected me to say something like that. I placed my phone in front of Marcus. Take a good look yourself and see how your dear Chloe fabricated things. Upon seeing the chat history, Chloe sprang to her feet from the floor. Grace, you deleted those chat records, and now you're trying to slander me? I rolled my eyes at her. Fine, let's say I deleted all the chat history. Why don't you open your own phone, go into WhatsApp, and export the chat history yourself? Stop with the screenshots, okay? I already deleted the chat history. As she spoke, she became distressed again. Marcus, I really don't want to hear Grace say those things about me anymore. I don't want to die, I really don't. But if Grace absolutely insists, what, if I really told you to die, would you actually do it? Chloe was stumped by my question. She stammered for a long time without saying a word. Marcus's gaze towards Chloe finally held a scrutinizing look. Then he saw that he, too, was in my WhatsApp blocked list. Grace, why did you block me? Why can't I block you? I retorted. I pulled the phone from Marcus's hand. Before, I told you over the phone, which might not have been formal enough. Now, in front of all these people, let me tell you again. I cleared my throat lightly, looking Marcus in the eye with utmost seriousness. Marcus, let's break up. Marcus's mouth hung slightly open, as if he couldn't believe I would actually say those words. The moment I pulled my hand back, Marcus suddenly grabbed it. Grace, what happened to your hand? The injuries from the car accident had mostly healed, but scars remained. Marcus gripped my hand tightly. I couldn't pull it free. I sighed. Marcus, are you really that forgetful? Didn't I tell you I was in a car accident? You thought I was lying, didn't you? Marcus fell silent, only tightening his grip on my hand. He winced, then immediately reacted. Grace, did I hurt you? I seized the opportunity to quickly pull my hand away. Marcus, I'm past the point of hurting. Grace, I made a shushing gesture at Marcus. Alright, let's not talk about the past anymore. Go and take care of your pseudo-sister. I uttered the word pseudo-sister with a mocking tone. Marcus's face showed a hint of embarrassment. As I stepped out, Marcus was about to follow when Chloe grabbed him from behind. Marcus, don't leave me alone. Marcus looked at her. Was all of this intentional? Chloe said nothing, just sniffled. The nurse nudged my arm and scoffed, she's starting again. Do you think Marcus will fall for it this time? I shook my head and smiled, no matter what, it has nothing to do with me anymore. The moment I decided to let go, neither Marcus nor Chloe had any connection to me anymore. Their affairs would no longer stir any ripples in my heart. As I left, my peripheral vision caught Marcus. He pulled his hand away from Chloe's. Chloe, you've truly disappointed me too much. I saw Chloe's tears fall, and this time, they didn't seem feigned. Grace, Marcus ran after me from behind. I'm sorry. That belated apology was finally uttered by Marcus. His face was flushed, everything before was my fault. I shouldn't have let Chloe cloud my judgment. Grace, can you forgive me? No, hearing my words, Marcus's face was filled with disbelief. Not every apology can be met with an "it's okay." But we've been together for 8 years, haven't we? Can you really bear to break up with me? Can you really abandon our 8 years of history? The nurse next to me couldn't help but let out a snort of laughter. Oh, so you do remember it was an 8-year relationship? I took a deep breath, recalling what Marcus had said to me earlier. Marcus, are you really going to use our 8 years together to guilt trip me into forgiving you? No, I didn't, that's not what I meant. Marcus suddenly dropped to one knee in front of me and pulled a ring from his pocket. Grace, I was always planning to propose to you, it was just too rushed back then. Now I'm proposing to you, okay? He looked at me eagerly. Grace, will you marry me? Let me take care of you for the rest of your life. I reached out and took the ring. A smile immediately bloomed on Marcus's lips. Grace, I knew it. I knew you'd say yes. You wouldn't be able to give up on our 8 years of history. I slipped the ring onto my finger and held it up to the light. So this is what a diamond ring looks like. So, this is what I've been waiting for 8 years for. So, I squinted, lowering my gaze as I took off the ring. Grace, you. Marcus tried to stop me, but it was too late, I had already tossed the ring at him. Marcus, we're over. No matter how many times you propose to me, I won't say yes. What happened at the hospital was turned into a video and posted online by someone. Chloe became famous incredibly quickly. Please, I need to know, how do you manage to be such a manipulative schemer? If you like him, and he's not even that good to you, why don't you just be with him instead of messing with everyone else's heads like this? People like you are just the other woman who breaks up relationships. If it weren't for you, they might have already been married. Instead of trying to hide from her sudden fame, Chloe started doing live stream selling online. The nurses even gave her a thumbs up when they talked about her. It's rare to see someone so shameless. If she doesn't succeed, it would truly be difficult. But the very next day, her live stream was permanently shut down. The nurse immediately covered her mouth. Not only was her live stream blocked, but I heard she couldn't withdraw her money and was fined for negatively influencing society. Right after her live stream was shut down, another video pushed her to the top of the trending topics. It was the old woman who had previously thrown leftovers in my face. Holding a bucket of something, she threw it at Chloe. At first, everyone thought it was just paint or leftovers, or at worst, excrement. But no one expected it to be sulfuric acid. Chloe rolled on the ground, clutching her face, while the old woman yelled "Besid. Her," and then grabbed a stick to beat her. That's for seducing my husband, you whore. You ruined my home and family, you animal. Looking at Chloe, I guessed she was probably disfigured. The nurse sighed. They say years ago, this old woman's husband ran off with the other woman, leaving her alone at home to care for their child and sickly old mother. Without money, she had to work 3 jobs a day. Eventually, her child developed cerebral palsy from a high fever and passed away a few years ago. The old woman also developed a mental illness, but it hadn't manifested without a trigger. Now, Chloe had become the old woman's trigger. I felt a pang of regret, but I still started packing my things. The nurse asked me, "Are you sure you want to leave here?" I hummed an affirmation. I had to leave and start anew. As soon as I dragged my luggage downstairs to my building, Marcus arrived. Due to the online backlash, he had been fired from the company. Lately, he had been showing up downstairs at my building almost every night. A few times, people even called the police, mistaking him for a stalker. Grace, please don't leave. He looked at me pleadingly. I truly know I was wrong. I promise I'll treat you well from now on and never make another mistake. Please, give me this one chance, okay? Marcus. I took a deep breath, looking back at him. Even if it wasn't Chloe, it would have been someone else. It just so happened that Chloe was the one this time. Someone as smart as Marcus, how could he not know Chloe's intentions towards him? He was just enjoying the drama of 2 women fighting over him. Grace, I truly know I was wrong. Please, give our 8 years together a chance, I'm begging you. I loaded my luggage into the car. After 8 years, let's both leave with some dignity. Grace. Marcus ran alongside the car, still begging me to forgive him. The driver turned to ask me, should I stop the car and give him one more chance? No. The wind picked up, and a car passed by. When I leaned out to look, that car had already hit Marcus, and the person driving it was Chloe. I pulled my head back into the car. Driver, please speed up. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section, so feel free to share your opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.